His men dragged me into his penthouse like I was cargo. My knees hit marble. Cold. Polished. The kind of floor that had seen blood, wiped clean more than once. I didn't look up. Not because I was afraid. Because I already knew who was sitting in front of me. Park Jae-won, CEO of Hanul Industries on paper. King of Seoul's underworld in reality. And as of tonight, my owner. My father had signed the contract himself. Traded his only daughter for his gambling debt. 200 million won. That's what I was worth to him. 23 years of being his daughter. Erased with one signature. And now I knelt at the feet of a man who could do anything he wanted to me. Anything. His voice came first. Low. Quiet. The kind of quiet that made everyone in the room stop breathing. Leave us. The guards vanished. The door clicked shut. And then it was just me. And him. I still didn't look up. My heart slammed against my ribs like it was trying to escape before the rest of me could. I heard him move. The soft creak of leather. Footsteps. Slow. Deliberate. Each one sending a new wave of cold down my spine. He stopped in front of me. Close enough that I could see his shoes. Black. Italian. Probably worth more than my entire life savings. Look at me. It wasn't a request. It was a command wrapped in silk. The kind of voice that didn't need to shout. The kind that made men twice my size flinch. I lifted my chin. And I met his eyes for the first time. Dark. Bottomless. Like staring into water, so deep you couldn't see what was underneath. His face was beautiful. That was the worst part. Sharp jaw. Perfect bone structure. A small scar cutting through his left eyebrow, the only evidence that he wasn't made in some designer lab. He tilted his head. Studied me like I was a painting he hadn't decided if he wanted yet. You're smaller than I expected. I didn't respond. What was I supposed to say? Sorry for disappointing you. He reached out. My whole body went rigid. But he didn't touch me. His fingers hovered near my jaw. Close enough that I could feel the heat of his skin. Close enough that I could see the edge of a tattoo creeping out from under his sleeve. Black ink. Dragons. Flames. The marks of someone who had killed his way to the top. Your father cried when he handed over the contract, he said. His voice was almost casual. Like he was commenting on the weather. Begged me to be gentle with you. My stomach turned. Said you were innocent, pure, his precious daughter. He laughed. It was a cold, hollow sound. And then he asked for an extra million to cover his bar tab. Something inside me cracked. Not broke. Cracked. Because I already knew my father was a monster. I just hadn't heard it confirmed by another one. So, Jae-won continued, here's what's going to happen. He pulled back his hand. Walked to the floor-to-ceiling windows that overlooked the city. Seoul sparkled below us. Millions of lights. Millions of people living their lives. None of them knew I was up here. None of them would ever know what happened to me. You belong to me now, he said, his back still turned. Legally, permanently, your father sold you clean, no loopholes, no escape clauses. I found my voice. It came out steadier than I expected. What do you want from me? He turned. His eyes met mine again. And for 1 second, just one, I saw something flicker. Something that wasn't cold. Something that almost looked like pain. Then it was gone. I want you to understand something, he said. He walked toward me. Slowly. Like a predator who didn't need to rush. He stopped when we were inches apart. So close I could smell him. Sandalwood. Smoke. Something darker underneath. You are mine. He said it quietly. Like a fact. Like gravity. Every breath you take belongs to me, every heartbeat, every thought. You exist because I allow it. I should have been terrified. I was terrified. But there was something else too. Something I didn't want to name. Something about the way he looked at me. Not with hunger. Not with cruelty. But with something that felt almost like restraint. Like he was holding himself back from the edge of a cliff. "But I'm not going to touch you," he said. I blinked. "What?" "I'm not going to touch you," he repeated. "Not tonight, not ever, not unless you ask me to." The words didn't make sense. Men like him took what they wanted. That was the whole point. That was what I had prepared myself for on the drive over. The resignation. The numbness. The walls I had built inside myself to survive whatever came next. But this wasn't in the script. "Why?" I whispered. He didn't answer. Instead, he walked to a side table. Poured himself a glass of whiskey. The amber liquid caught the light. "You'll live here," he said, his back to me again. "Third floor, your own suite. You'll have everything you need. Clothes, food, money, freedom to move within the compound. And in exchange..." He turned. Took a sip. "In exchange, you stay." "That's it. That's it. You bought me for 200 million won, just to keep me here." "I bought your father's debt," he corrected. "You were the collateral." "There's no difference." "There's every difference." He set down the glass. Walked toward me again. This time, he didn't stop until he was close enough that I could see the flecks of gold in his dark eyes. Close enough that his breath ghosted across my skin. "Your father offered you like livestock," he said. "Wrapped you up in a contract and handed you over to a monster. He didn't care what happened to you. He just wanted his debt cleared." His jaw tightened. "I may be many things. A killer, a criminal, a man with more blood on his hands than you could ever imagine." He leaned closer. His lips near my ear. "But I don't take what isn't freely given." The words sent a shiver through me. Not from fear. From something else. Something that coiled low in my stomach. Something warm. "So you'll stay," he murmured. "And I'll keep you safe. And every day, your father will know that his daughter is alive and untouched in the home of a man who could have destroyed her." He pulled back. Looked at me. "That's his punishment, not you." The first week was the hardest. I didn't believe him. How could I? I spent every night waiting for the door to open. For him to change his mind. For the mask to slip. But it never did. He barely spoke to me. When we crossed paths in the halls, he would nod. Nothing more. His men treated me like I was made of glass. The housekeeper brought me meals I didn't ask for. The chef learned my favorite foods. I had a library. A garden. A view of the city that made me feel like I was living in a dream. A gilded cage is still a cage, I told myself. But the bars were getting harder to see. 3 weeks in, I found him in the study. It was late. Past midnight. I couldn't sleep. The door was open. He sat at his desk, his head in his hands. Shirtless. I had never seen him without a suit before. The tattoos covered his entire back. A dragon. Flames. Names written in Korean that I couldn't read from this distance. But I could see the scars. Lines of raised skin that crisscrossed over the ink. Cigarette burns on his shoulders. A long, jagged wound down his spine. Someone had hurt him. Not once. Many times. He looked up. Caught me staring. For a moment, we just stayed there. Him. Me. The silence between us, heavy with everything unspoken. "You shouldn't be awake," he said. "Neither should you." Something flickered in his eyes. Amusement, maybe. Or surprise. "Come here." It wasn't a command this time. It was almost a question. I walked into the study, stopped a few feet away. He watched me. You've been here 3 weeks. You haven't tried to run. Would there be a point? No. Then why would I waste the energy? He almost smiled. Almost. You're not afraid of me anymore. I'm terrified of you. Then why are you here? I didn't have an answer. Or maybe I did, and I just couldn't say it out loud. The truth was, I had started watching him, noticing things. The way he was gentle with the staff. The way he read before bed. The way he stood at the window sometimes, staring at the city like he was looking for something he had lost. He wasn't what I expected. He was worse. Because a monster would have been easier to hate. Sit, he said. He gestured to the chair across from his desk. I sat. He poured me a glass of something amber. Pushed it toward me. I'm going to tell you something, he said, and then you're going to decide if you want to stay. I don't have a choice about staying. You always have a choice. He leaned back. The scars on his chest caught the light. I wasn't always this, powerful, wealthy, untouchable. He said the words like they tasted bitter. I grew up in Busan, in a house smaller than your bathroom. My father was a drunk. My mother was dead by the time I was 6. He took a drink. The tattoos aren't for show. They're loyalty marks. The old boss gave them to me when I was 16. One for every man I killed to prove myself. My stomach turned. The scars are from the years before that, when I was someone else's property, someone else's tool. He met my eyes. I was sold too, by my own father to pay his debts. The air left my lungs. I was 13. I couldn't speak. Couldn't move. It took me 10 years to claw my way out, to become the one in power instead of the one on his knees. He set down his glass. That's why I don't touch you. That's why I will never touch you unless you want me to. His voice was quiet. Rough. Like the words were costing him something. Because I know what it's like to have your body taken from you, to have no choice, no voice, no humanity. He looked at me. And for the first time, I didn't see the Mafia boss. The CEO. The killer. I saw the boy. The one who had been broken before he learned how to break others. So now you know, he said, what I am, where I came from, why I am the way I am. He stood. Walked to the window. His reflection stared back at us both. If you want to leave, I'll let you go. I'll clear your father's debt. You'll never hear from me again. And if I stay? He turned. If you stay as mine. Not my possession, not my captive. He walked toward me. Slowly. Stopped when we were close. So close I could feel the warmth radiating off his skin. If you stay because you choose to. Because you want to. Because you see me, all of me, and you don't look away. His hand lifted. Hovered near my cheek. Still not touching. I will protect you, provide for you, give you anything you want. His voice dropped. But I will never force you. I will never take from you. I will never become the thing that destroyed me. I felt the tears before I realized I was crying. Not from sadness. Not from fear. From something I couldn't name. From the way he looked at me like I was the first person to ever truly see him. From the way his hand trembled near my face. From the realization that the most dangerous man in Seoul was terrified. Not of me. Of himself. Of wanting something he didn't think he deserved. I reached up. Took his hand. Pressed it to my cheek. His breath caught. I'm not running, I whispered. He didn't move. Didn't breathe. His palm was warm against my skin. Rough with calluses. A hand that had killed. A hand that had built empires. A hand that was shaking against my face, like I was made of something that might shatter. You don't know what you're choosing, he said. Maybe not. I can't promise you a normal life. I don't want normal. I can't promise you safety. There will always be people who want me dead, who would use you to get to me. I know. I can't promise I won't hurt you. I stood, faced him. We were inches apart. His eyes searched mine, looking for hesitation, for fear, for a reason to push me away. I'm not asking for promises, I said. I'm asking for a choice. A choice. You said I had one, so I'm making it. I reached up, touched the scar on his eyebrow, traced it with my thumb. He closed his eyes, exhaled like he had been holding his breath for years. I was sold to you, I whispered, but I'm staying because I want to. His hands found my waist. Gentle, tentative, like he was learning how to hold something without breaking it. If you stay, he murmured, you become a target. Everyone will know who you are, what you mean to me. Good. His eyes opened. Dark. Burning. Good. Let them come, let them see. I stepped closer, until there was no space between us, until I could feel his heartbeat against my chest. Strong. Vast. Not the heartbeat of a monster. The heartbeat of a man who was terrified of hopping for something. You spent 10 years becoming someone people fear, I said. Maybe it's time you became someone people love. He didn't respond. Not with words. His forehead dropped to mine. His hands pulled me closer. And for a long moment, we just stood there. Breathing. Existing. Two people who had been sold. Two people who had been broken. Two people who had finally found something worth staying for. I don't know how to do this, he admitted. How to be soft. Then we'll figure it out. Together. Together. He pulled back. Looked at me. And for the first time since I had met him, Park Ji-won smiled. It was small. Barely there. But it transformed his face. Made him look younger. Lighter. Almost human. You were supposed to be my leverage, he said. My weapon against your father. And now. He cupped my face. Tilted it up toward his. Now you're the only thing I would burn my empire to protect. His lips hovered near mine. Close enough to feel. Close enough to taste. Stay with me, he whispered. Not a command. A prayer. Always, I answered. And when he finally kissed me, it wasn't the kiss of a mafia boss claiming his property. It was the kiss of a man who had finally stopped running. A man who had found his way home. That night, I knelt at his feet. Not because his men had dragged me there. Not because my father had sold me. But because I chose to. I chose him. And he chose me. The marble was still cold. Polished. The kind of floor that had seen blood wiped clean. But when he lifted me up, when he pulled me into his arms, when he carried me to a room that was no longer a cage, I realized something. I had walked into his world as collateral. I was leaving as his equal. My name is Soo-yeon. I was sold to a monster. But the monster never touched me. Not until I asked him to. And when I did, when I finally did, I understood why he had waited. Because Park Ji-won didn't want my body. He didn't want my fear. He didn't want my submission. He wanted something far more dangerous. Something far more terrifying. He wanted my heart. And I had already given it to him.